Thank you, Professor Kingsley Mwagalu. The next aspirant will be Adamu Garuba II.
My name is Adamu Garba. I am born 35 years ago to the family of Malan Garba, who is an Islamic scholar, and my mother Hadiza Garba, who is a PT trader. I conceived the idea of wanting to contest for the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria somewhere in 2004 while I was at the university. In fact, when I was talking about Vision 2019, then some people thought I was mad. Somehow, along the path, I have to even fall out with the institution because of the way I carried the message very heavily. In 2007, I decided to deliberately start working about how to fix Nigeria, because to me, the problem of Nigeria is deeply personal, very, very personal. I think I felt the problem of almost all the situations that is happening in the rural areas while growing up. So I grew up and started my company at the age of 26. The name of the company is IPI Solutions Nigeria Limited. It has now grown to be one of the best Microsoft partners in sub-Saharan Africa, servicing about 39 African countries with 45 employees. And we have about 13 international recognitions at our count currently. I understand something about Nigeria, that since from independence, I guess we missed the part. Nigeria is an economically integrated unit. It's not a country that is defined by natural borders. It is a country that was founded through the colonial masters when Sir George Goldie, the owner of Royal Niger Company, was able to discover the advantages of Nigeria as a nation. And one of those advantages is the fact that we are strategically located. We are members of Atlantic Alliance, 853 miles of shoreline, 733 miles of River Niger flowing within our hinterland and the River Benue, rich in resources, high output of people. Then this country is actually very good for business. And they have two companies. And the company then was Unilever and UAC. I'm sure most of us know about that. So it was actually an economically integrated unit. But from independence, when the country was handed over to our responsible and honorable patriotic founding fathers, along the line, we began to prioritize politics as opposed to the economics. And then we drift away. We began to develop different versions of us within a country. Different identity crises start setting in. We have in the 1960s, the Biafras. In the 1970s, we have the bandits. In the 1980s, we have Medicines. In the 1990s, we have the militants. In the 2000s, we have the Boko Harams. Now in the 2010s, we have herdsmen and farmers. Very complete crisis. Nigeria is not actually a country that we should be treating each other as a political entity. It's not really a political entity, it's an economic entity. And that is why I am running for president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria come 2019 to redefine the principle of what is called Nigeria. We came up with a very deliberate policy that is created from 2019-2035. It's a 16-year policy plan that is called Nigerian National Grand Strategy that is going to be anchored around 3R system: the reawakening, the rejuvenation, and the renaissance of the Nigerian state. We intend to change the the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria to 9 geoeconomic zones and enthrone more economic prosperity. We understand that where we have the problem is not really getting the economy right. So our macroeconomic policies have been very, very wrong. Instead of us to invest heavily in building infrastructure and bridging the supply line that is conformable to the supply chain defined world order of the 21st century, we focus more on just collecting our share of the pie, something that comes from the ground. This is not who we are. In fact, if you check from the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, it was discovered that about 82% of Nigerians are entrepreneurial in nature. 17 million Nigerians that are living in diaspora community because they have the right infrastructure. They are remitting almost 10% of our GDP. This is a strong country with a strong people. If we come together, trust me, there is no place that we cannot conquer in the world.
Thank you. Thank you, Adamu Garuba. The next person. We want to give opportunity to each and every aspirant to be able to say something about it. Some of you have specific questions directed at you. Some are very general questions. And so we will invite you and still give you another 2 minutes each to respond to these questions.
Fruits we can get in this country of 84 million acres of arable land is agriculture. So I believe the current crop choices of the current FG plans is not really moving in the right direction, because there are right crop choices that you do that are high value crops that can power industrialization. For instance, cotton, for instance, cocoa, for instance, granite. You can use them to be able to build industry where you can get job. That's actually where our first employment policy is going to, moving back to industrialization. Because over the course of years from 1999 to 2013, after rebasing of our GDP, our economy has been growing astronomically from $256 billion to about $510 billion. Yet the poverty remains almost at the same bar, simply because we don't have platforms to give jobs, lack of industrialization. The second thing again that we do to create jobs is in our international diplomacy. We want to change our international relations to be for trade in exchange for skills. We cannot go to UN and start talking about Israel and Palestine. We need to be talking to nations about what can we get by dealing with you. We have the size, we have the consumer size, we are a consumer economy, very large size, so we have the power of what is called monopsony. Monopsony is you having the right market for you to be able to define your relationship with your seller. So we can be able to talk to all the countries that import their goods into us. What can we give? What can you give us in return? If we buy, for instance, 1 million Toyota in this country, what do we get in return? Do we have to send 100,000 Nigerians to go and learn how to work in Toyota over a certain period of time, or we just buy Toyota? So this is how we need to look at.
Thank you very much.
And someone asked quickly. Someone asked about rural women. Our policy on rural women is changing our diplomatic direction. We don't need to have any diplomatic directions that are not beneficial, that are just extractive. We have a country called Bangladesh. I don't know why we don't even have an embassy with Bangladesh. I don't know if we do. But Bangladesh is very important because they have rural women policies. Those they are women. Our plan is to bring about 2,000 of rural Bangladeshi women to move around 774 local government to teach our rural women how to sew. Because you know almost all the brands we wear.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I apologize for interrupting you. Thank you very much. I will invite